Hi, I'm Ellie Barnes and this is the Craft Room. I hope if you saw the video this morning, you're getting a chance to see it again this afternoon. And I hope we've got sound this time. I'm just going to see if it's coming through and if people are watching, and perhaps they can give me a thumbs up if you're watching to let me know if there's sound coming through. Or give me a message anytime to try and let me know if the sound disappears this time. So we're going to be making the same card with a slight difference because I haven't got all the DSP or designer series paper I need. So I've gone away to change it up a bit. So let me just turn you down to my desk, and evidently this is when the sound went off, so I will see if the sound disappears. If it stays on and you can still hear me, give me a thumbs up and I'll know that we've got it right this time. And if you can't hear me, please type something and let me know. I'll just turn you down to the bench. There's the craft desk there. Now I'm going to switch you, and hopefully we've still got a bit of sound happening. Now, is there sound? Can you hear me? If so, please give me a thumbs up. I'm not sure. No one's given me a thumbs up yet, so I'm not sure if I've got sound or not. Oh well, I will proceed, and if there's any problems, just let me know on screen. Now, for those that haven't seen it, I will give you the full tutorial that I was doing. I'm just going to bring up the pages in the catalogue. We're going to do the Earthern Elegance suite today. It's a very, very beautiful suite. When I first saw it, I wasn't so sure, but I love now all the textures it gives you, and the ability to do cards for both male and female, which it's often hard to have things to make cards for males. So I'm going to show you a few things here, and at the end you'll get to see a bonus card that I made after this morning's live, just as a little bonus for tuning in again. So we'll put this aside and I'll show you the actual products. The first thing in the set, or in the suite, comes the stamps, and they've got, it's all about thank you. So you've got a thank you, you are proof there is good in the world, with gratitude, you always know what to do, your thoughtfulness is much appreciated. And then we've got these fabulous dies. We have 3 here that cut out these sprigs. We have 2 for the vases. We also have handles to put on top of the vase. We have a die that puts impressions into the card, and we have 3 different leaves that we can cut out. So I'll pop that aside. Also in the suite comes this beautiful designer series paper. This paper's been made with using clay, and they've made impressions into the clay and then photographed that. So Stampin' Up comes with all sorts of ideas to create new paper and interesting looks. So this is the first one, and it has a Misty Moonlight back. Next we have this beautiful one in Moody Mauve, and again all the markings in the clay, and then one in Pebble Path. This one's in Copper Clay, and they've done stripes all the way down. and another Misty Moonlight. And this one's grey granite. And all the markings repeated again. And one of my favourite colours, Pretty Peacock. And this one's copper clay, and I think it's got a bit of pecan pie in it as well. And all the colours again on the back. And another copper clay. And they've actually done lovely little branches and leaves, a leaf pattern in there. Now this piece is only a part of one, because on this side we used the top of this to create the card this morning, and I don't have any more. So I'm going to show you a way that I can put some dots on a card that won't be exactly the same, but it'll have a similar look. So I'm popping those well out of the road for the moment. And then the suite also comes with this beautiful natural wavy trim. It's a 1/4 inch or a 6.4 millimeters. Now I'll just raise it a little bit and hopefully you can see that. Let's pull it over a bit more. So gorgeous little trim there, and I'll show you how we're going to use that. We probably saw this morning if you were tuned in. We're going to bring in the craft paper, the grid paper, and I'm going to straight away bring in my trimmer, and I'm going to start. So the first thing I'm going to do is the card base, and I'm trimming that at 14.8 by, and scoring, getting my trimmer out of the way, using my scorer blade. Oh, I did down the bottom. Just scoring at 10.5. Okay. Oh, I need that. We'll put this aside. Now, I did use this paper before. This is actually Fresh as a Daisy DSP that I used earlier this month. But I'm going to use this, the back of it, which is the, some textured look in Pebble Path. And that's just going to add to the textures in our card. Now, I want this to be at 9.8 centimetres wide. And I need 2 pieces at, no, it's going to be 14 centimetres. Now, this is when I would use this designer series paper, this piece here. Instead, I need to use white. So I'm going to bring some white in. And I'm going to cut, again, I want 2 pieces. And I want it at 9 centimetres. Oh, actually, we need to do this way first. 13.3. So that's actually 1.5 centimetres less than our normal card size. And so is it at 9 centimetres. To do the bottom, do it at the top so you can see what I'm doing. So another cut at 9 centimetres, and we'll pop them aside. And that's all our trimming. So what I'm going to do, I want to make these 2 pieces. Oh, that one I didn't. It's way too wide. 9 centimetres, Ellie. 9 centimetres. I'm going to use Pebble Path, and I want to add some dots to this so that it looks a bit like the other paper. So I've chosen this stamp, and it's it's not part of the set, but it's the way I'm going to be able to bring the paper closer to what I was using. It's out of the Irresistible Blooms, which is available exclusively through the online store. So that's that one. So I'll show you how I'm going to achieve it. I don't want a strong dark impression, so I'm going to stamp off not once but twice and then stamp it. So not once but twice and stamp. And I'm just going to do this all over. No rhyme or reason. We can put them together actually. And then that'll join it. There. And up the top there. So that side, that piece is done. So it's not perfectly the same, but it certainly will give us a similar look. Now we need to start cutting out some of the dies using our mini cut and emboss. So I'll get that ready. And I've got our embossing plates here. And the first one I'm going to do, actually I should have done some more stamping. I forgot. We'll go back to that. We'll do some more stamping for a minute because I need to stamp some of the items first. I want to stamp so some of my pots have some texture. So I'm going to use this stamp and this stamp. All right. So the first thing I'll do is on the pebble, that will be fine, on the Pebbled Path piece of paper, I'm stamping that one, Pebbled Path, on Pebbled Path. Then on this one, which is Pecan Pie, I'm stamping a Pecan Pie vase or pot. And it's lovely, the textures in these. Now I'm going to bring a wipe over. I usually use a chamois, but we've got the wipes today just to speed it up. And I'll just dry that off a bit because I'm going to use copper clay on copper clay. And that's just giving you dimension and a lot of textured look. Now we have those done, we can start cutting out. So I'll bring this back in and I'll bring back our dies and our plates. So the first thing I'm going to do is use this die to cut out this pot. And I don't know if you can see there, but the die is slightly smaller than the pot. So just put it on so you know you're covering the whole pot. And to make life easier, I'm just going to cut the end off that so it runs through quickly. Turn it that way. Get it nice and flat. I'm not sure, I'll just move it in a bit so you can see. There we are, we have that lined up. Pop the top plate on. We have a sandwich made. That's what they call it, with your different plates lined up correctly. You're making a sandwich. And there's our first pot. Then I'll cut this one off so we can run it through. I'll pop that over there. And I'm going to use this die. And again, it's slightly smaller. So just line it all up. And it will cut inside that stamped image. So there we have our second pot, and you can see the edge is still there, but that doesn't affect what we're doing. And pop that aside for a minute. Now, you could use this to cut this pot out, but I actually want to use this die. So I'm going to put it towards the centre so I get the width fitting over where the width of the stamp is. And I'm going to cut out a smaller pot, and it'll have quite a lot of texture on it. And there we have it. That pot shows the cutout of that. And we'll put that aside. Now I'm going to use a couple of other pieces from this set to decorate the pots, or to decorate that grey pot. I'm going to cut out some handles, and I'm going to cut out a pattern for it. So I've got a little bit more Grace Pebble Path cardstock here. I'm just going to pop these on, and we'll run that through the cut and emboss machine. So pop those back over here. That way we don't lose them. And then we've got a pattern to go across here and a handle for the top. I'll just get rid of those little bits. Now, the next thing we're going to do is cut some leaves. And I need a little bit more Pebble Path. So I only need a tiny piece, so I'm just going to cut it off this piece because I'm just going to use that much. Okay. So I'll just cut that down. And I'll run that one through. And there's one plant, which we're going to put on that pot. I'll pop him back, and I'm going to use one of these, and I'll cut that out of pecan pie. So I'll pop that on here. There we go. And that one's going to go on that pot. And last, but never least, I'm going to use some Pretty Peacock, which is this one. And I'm going to cut out this one. So I'm just going to cut a piece off like so. There we go. I'm going to place that in there. And run it through again. And this is our last piece of die cutting. We can start assembling some of our pieces together and then assemble our card. So we'll place our dies over to the side out of the road. And that one's going to go with that piece. Get these out of the road. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is assemble this pot. So I'm going to want to put that on. Now, I found using all these curves and angles, the best way to get everything straight is to line it up with your grit paper. So there's my pot lined up there. And that's going to go on about there. So we're going to get some glue and glue it on. And we can line that up too. So just a little bit of glue. Don't need a lot. We're just going to pop it on, so I'm using the grids to line it up. Oh. There. And I can use a dry wipe to pick up any excess glue that may have leaked through. The glue does dry clear though, so you don't have to panic. I'm popping some glue at the top here. And I'm just going to pop the handles on. And I'm just getting them so that it is at the right place. It needs to be straight also. But it's so it matches the side of the vase. And so I'm going to pop that aside and let it all dry. And the next pot I want to decorate is this one. And I'm going to be using some of this beautiful trim. So I need 3 strips of it. 1, 2, 3. Let me just put some lid on my glue before it dries hard. And for this I'm going to use the tear and tape, and that will hold everything in place. And I'm going to pop a little piece here first. Oh, that's too big. Even that might be too big. A piece here. And trying to get to stick. There we go. So I'll pop my middle piece down. And then I'm going to pop a piece angled to the side, so that those loops and gaps are filling all the space, and the same at the bottom. So the loops and gaps fill all the space. And then I'm going to turn it over, pop some tear and tape on the back, a bit on each side. Come on, fingernails. Now, let me get the scissors. And I'll just bend these over. The same on this side. And then we have this lovely textured look on the front of our pot. Now, before we start gluing all these pieces together, we need to do this one. At the moment, it's a completely flat piece of paper, but I'm going to show you how to fold it. And I've had a bit more practice with it, so I found hills and valleys, valleys in the centre, hills on the edges. And I don't know if you can see, but there is just one tiny little join all the way around here of these petals to stay together. So hills, a valley, a hill, a valley, a hill, a valley, a hill, a valley, a hill, a valley. And then I just squeeze them together again to get them to sit up a bit more. And that gives a lot of 3D look to that side. And it's a bit hard to see, I know, on camera. I'll try and show you. Again, a valley in the leaf, and then fold it slightly back to give a hill. And then a valley in the leaf, and I use my fingernails to get it straight. And back, valley in the leaf, and a hill on the edge. And once you've done the fold all the way around, that's when you can sort of squeeze them together a bit more, and they will stand up a bit more and give you that real 3D look. Now, I will try and raise that up so you can see that. I'm not sure if you can, but there it is. It gives it quite a good 3D impression. Yeah. Anyhow, we'll continue on. Hopefully you got an idea of that. So let's continue on. I'm going to take our card base. We'll start there, and we'll fold this in half. And I use my bone folder to give nice, sharp fold. And it also helps keep it a bit more flat. And I'm going to take these two pieces of Pebble Path. So we've got grey granite, and I'm going to glue some Pebble Path on. And I want it to show, I'm going to put it on the angle, and it's going to help give this card a bit more texture. I'm using the multi-purpose glue, and I'm just going a little bit on the back. Everyone has their own technique. I just do a little bit round the edge and then a swirl in the centre. And I'm actually, although it's not straight, I'm putting the points to the edge. And I'm going to do that on the inside too, to give the same look on the inside of the card as it is on the outside of the card. So we're just going on the angle. Like so. Now we come to these two pieces. And this is where we're going to be stamping our greetings. I'll put the lid on while I do that stamping. Now we need some pebble path. So I'll do the front first. Now I know I'm going to be putting this on the card, this straight, like so. So I want to stamp my greeting, but I want it to be fairly straight. So I can even leave the card underneath and show you how to do that, or you can take it off. But if I leave it there, then I'm just going to stamp here. Thank you. And on the inside, again, I'm going to be putting the card straight, but this is going to be on the angle. So my greeting on the inside, I'm using "You are proof there is good in the world." I want that straight. And I'm also going to stamp in here, and I will have to take it off here to do this one. I'm going to stamp some leaves. And here we go. Just down the bottom. And that's in Pretty Peacock. So we can glue those pieces now to the card. Just close up my stamp pads. We'll do this one first, the inside of the card, like so. Again, as I said, I just go around the edge and I put a little swirl in the middle. Now, I've got to get this on the right angle. Oh, dear me. It's not every day you have to repeat yourself. And I'll pop the front piece on. Too much of an angle, that's better. That's why I like this glue, it's got wiggle room. Now I'm going to start preparing to put these on the card. So for this one, I'm going to be putting on with dimensionals. And I did have my dimensionals somewhere to the side here. Where have I thrown them? Oh, under here. Here they are. So I'm going to pop one here. Couple here. And one down the bottom. And I'm going to pop a little bit of the tear and tape over this, because it's high enough to be a dimensional, but I want to make sure that those ribbons or the twine doesn't come undone. Now this pot, I'll just trim up these side edges. There we go. Pop those off to the side. And again, I'll just pop a few dimensionals on the back. And this pot needs a couple. I'm leaving plenty of space at the top so I can stick things in underneath it. Now the branches, this one, because it's so thin, even these mini dimensionals, which I think you can see there what size they are too thin, are too wide. So I just trim, there's plenty of space on the edge here. I just trim some of that off. I need it quite thin though. So I'll just pop that aside. And I need a smallish bit for this. And I'm going to pop one here. And another one down here. Like so. And for this one, I'm going to use a bit more of this thin strip. And pop it along this leaf here, where that ridge is, and a dimensional down here, just a mini one. And that's all we need for those. We're just about ready to assemble the plants together, but I want actually some more leaves coming out of this pot plant. It's going to have these ones, but I'm going to add in some of these that we stamped in the middle. So what I need to do is get my pretty peacock again. And I need to roughly work out where I'm going to be putting my vase or my pot, which looks about there. So I'm going to get this all inked up, and it looks like it needs to go there. So then when I put my pot on, it's already stamped. So they'll be in the background. So we'll just put the pretty peacock away. And we're going to pop this guy on, this pot on. And again, working with the angles, it can throw you a bit. You might end up starting to put them that way, and you want them that way. If you want them straight with the base of the card, I find I need to put my base straight on the grid paper, and then I can put my pot straight, or otherwise end up with them all over the place. And then I'm going to put this bit of leaf in, and I want it to go about there. Now, I want this pot to be the one that's above, on top of the other two, so I'm just going to sit that there for a minute while I work out where I'm going to put this. And so that's going to go about there. So I'll just leave that sitting where I want him and pull these off again. This one doesn't want to come off. There it goes. And I want him just about there. So now I can put this pot between. And he looks like he's in front. And I'll pop him, I might just pop him a little bit more, like so. Now, I haven't put any dimensionals on this piece because it's such a fine piece. I'm just going to use a little bit of multi-purpose glue, a couple of dots. So we'll just pop a couple of dots along the way. I'll pop one right down the bottom so he stays in place. Come on. That'll be right. There we go. And that, I might trim that because I've got only a small space to stick him under. And there he goes there. And our last piece will go here. And he needs to go right down to the bottom this time. So I'm going to cut a fair bit of this stem off. And I'll take these two off. And I need him right like so. And there's our card. So that's our card front, and it's matching inside. I'll show you the card I did this morning. So you can see, I quite like it with that paper, but I didn't have any more. But they're the same cards. And I said I'd got a bonus for you. When I finished the live this morning, I had a little play with some of the other colours, and I came up with this card. So that it's actually, it's Misty Moonlight and Granite Grey, Misty Moonlight, the Granite Grey here, the Moody Mauve, and I've used Pebble Path as the card. So hopefully you've enjoyed watching. Hopefully we got sound and everyone's been able to hear it all. I'm going to pop you back up and hopefully I don't lose you all again. I'll just turn you. I hope that wasn't too dizzying for you. And we're back seeing reality again. It was a bit of a mess this morning, but I'm glad if you've been able to come back and watch it again. We've now got this card done twice, so you can watch it without sound and watch one with sound. I'll be back here next Saturday at 10:30. We'll be doing another card, and we'll also have some more of the Earthern textures or Earthern Elegance suite on my page this week with some different cards that I come up with. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.